I'm starting Project Pan for the very first time, but I'm not coming into this with drawers and drawers full of makeup. I'm already a frugal minimalist in my early 40s, so this Project Pan is coming from a very different angle. If you're new to Project Pan, it's basically an underconsumption trend where it's all about using up what you've already got in the way of body and beauty products and using it right down to the very bottom of the container instead of buying new. Even though I live pretty minimally, I can still think of a few items that I can intentionally use through. And today I want to set this up properly so I can really see what I've got. One thing that I realized straight away is that I need a simple way to track my progress, because if you don't see it, you don't feel it. Got some empty boxes up here, so this might work. Found these two boxes, and I think this big one is probably going to be the best one. It is the beginning of February right now, and I want to do this for a full year because that's how you're really going to see through all the seasons and different parts of the year exactly how much stuff you end up using throughout the full cycle. So I've just labeled the front of that box. And I'm just going to put that in the top of my cupboard without the lid, so that way every time I get an empty, I can just chuck it in there and see my progress as I'm going. So I'm going to walk through my house and see what I've got out of the three categories: daily essentials, occasional/seasonal items, and things that I'm probably going to use out and I might not repurchase at the end. So let's go. First up, I have this whole container of Sukin cleansers and moisturizers. So the deal with this is I get them from a discount grocery store that I go to, Lighthouse in Brisbane, and last year they were having occasionally these like get 5 for $5 deals, so they worked out to be $1 each instead of $15 each from the supermarket. And I like them because they're natural and not tested on animals. My daughter and I both use them, so of course, being a frugal person, I stocked up, but now I have so much, so I will absolutely be using through these this year, and we will have lots of leftovers. So it'll be interesting to see how many we actually use in a year. Coming into the bathroom, this is what I use daily. I use a BB cream because I do get rosacea and I do burn easily, so I just want to protect my face. So I have a few of these Natio bottles. This one's right at the end. So I just use that, and then I've got some homemade powder that I put for a matte finish, so I'm going to use through that. And down in the cupboard, I have another face powder that I haven't even started. So once I've used the homemade one, I'm going to use this one, and then I will go back to making my own. I am right down to the very last drops of my perfume, and then I don't want to buy any more perfume. I actually want to be making my own with essential oils. So for now, that's just sitting there waiting to be used, and then that won't be getting replaced. When it comes to deodorant, I just make my own. You can check out my DIY deodorant recipe with 3 simple ingredients. So that's not something that I need to buy, so there will be no deodorant containers. I've got all of these nail polishes. I cannot tell you the last time I actually bought nail polish, but I do paint my toenails once every 3 to 4 weeks because it lasts on my toenails. So I am using through all this. I don't know if I'll finish any colours this year, but we shall see. I have got these 2 sunscreens, which I don't use a lot of, to be honest. Even though I burn, I don't like sunscreen. I prefer just to cover up and stay out of the sun. So I'm not even sure if I'll get through one of those. They might be sitting in my cupboard for quite a while yet. When I was using these face powders a lot, I was noticing that the sponges wouldn't last for the entirety of the container. So I ended up buying this cheap set of sponges from Kmart or something. But now that I'm actually not using that face powder anymore, I am using this powder with a brush. I'm probably just going to have these sitting in the cupboard now. I don't even think I'll get through them. In my makeup bag, I just have 3 different lip colours, which I rarely use. It's only if I go out at night. I've got 2 mascaras to get through and an eyeliner. And then I've got some henna eyebrow tint. I might even have to buy another one when I get through that, but I shall use all of this up first before buying anything else. When it comes to eyeshadow, this is all I've got. I just do dark smoky colours, so that will definitely get me through the year with leftovers for next year, no doubt. I've got this vitamin C powder for your face, which I got talked into at one point and just forgot about. I found that in the back of the drawer. When it comes to shampoo and conditioner, I just have very thin, fine hair. It's very straight. I find that expensive shampoos and conditioners absolutely do nothing for me. It's just a waste of time and money. So I just get these Fruits ones from the supermarket. They're $2 a bottle and they're not tested on animals. So that really appeals to me. I actually just stocked up on these the other day because I like to make sure we've got plenty of our everyday supplies in the cupboard. So I will absolutely work through these before buying anything new. I actually buy bar soap in boxes because that is zero waste. So I've got 2 boxes here that are already open. So they're for both bathrooms and around the house. But I also have these 2 bottles of liquid Dettol hand soap that I might as well use up. So I've got this empty plastic pump bottle that I just keep in the cupboard for just in case. So we'll probably use through those as well and see how far we get through these boxes. Here are some extra things that I found. I've got a bit of hairspray in case I go out at night. And I found a couple of disposable razors. I've actually had laser hair removal, so I don't really need to shave very often. So I may or may not use these this year. When I do need to replace them, I plan on getting a stainless steel razor with the replaceable blades, so that will be zero waste. And then this is the contents of my bedside table and my handbag. So I got this laser aid when I was getting laser hair removal, and it is a decent moisturizer, so I might as well use that up. I just have like a little chapstick and some paw cream in my bedside table, so I use both of those for my lips. I'm using through those. And then I've just got a little lip balm for my bag. So I will use through those before any more lip balm is had. In the end, this is everything that I've found. And there's actually more there than I thought just because I've stocked up on some things. So we will be working through this. It'll be interesting to see how quickly I actually use up through some of this stuff and what's still going to be sitting there at the end of the year. So if you're already frugal or fairly minimalist with your beauty and body products and you're wondering if Project Pan is even for you, I'll be checking in throughout the year with some progress updates to see how it's going, just for an honest take on what it's like for those of us that are already not consuming massive amounts as it is. Let me know in the comments if you're doing Project Pan this year or if you're more in the camp of I'm just going to use what I've got without having to name it.